That was a style of fingerpicking that characterises the playing of blind Gary Davis. Reverend Davis was probably one of the best ragtime blues pickers that ever lived. He learned from a guy called Willie Walker back in the 1920s. When we start to fingerpick the blues, one of our first choices is, do we use fingerpicks or not? Often I play with fingerpicks and very often I play without, and the reason is that I want to try and capture the authentic feel of the old blues guys. Some played with fingerpicks, some played without fingerpicks. So it stands to reason, it's logical to try and copy exactly what the old guys did to learn how they made that particular sound. Now, to play in the style of Gary Davis, I wear a plastic thumb pick, as you can see here, and a steel finger pick. Gary Davis and many of the celebrated old guitarists just used one finger. It moved around and it was very quick and nimble. And if he needed help, then he'd bring his thumb over to the treble strings. So the thumb was very, very mobile and very independent. When you buy a new steel fingerpick, it looks like this. It's rather straight and needs adapting. I bend the end over so that it follows the profile of my finger. Now the thumb pick is worn in this way, but Gary Davis wore his further down the thumb, which gives a lot of power. Now the Reverend played music in many different styles, in gospel, blues and in ragtime. He could truly play in any particular style that he wanted to, but of course when he became a Reverend he stopped playing the devil's music and concentrated mostly on gospel singing. When Reverend Davis played in the key of C, it was often characterised by this solid, driving, alternating bass beat. It was made possible by the thumb pick, which makes it a very strong sound because the thumb pick is a natural amplifier. Also, the ends of the finger picks and the thumb pick, they're much narrower than a fingertip, so you can get them between the strings. In this way you can carry out certain single string runs. One of the great advantages of using finger picks is that you can pick a single string in succession, using the thumb beat first and then the finger, and they alternate, so you can make very fast runs. Here's a song that I wrote in the style of Gary Davis's gospel music. As you can see, it has the swinging rhythmic sound, and we can play chords using the thumb pick to strum across the strings, or just using the thumb and the finger to alternate on one string to make some really nice creative runs. It helps to complement the music, make it sound more interesting, and it's a complement to the singing as well. Often the single string runs occur after the singing and in between the lines of the verses. I'll play part of a song called Cocaine Blues in the style of Reverend Gary Davis in the key of C, and I'll show the tablature below and the chord structure so you can play along if you wish. Reverend Davis can make a wonderful sound with very few chords, and for Cocaine Blues we're going to use 3 chords. First of all, it's in the key of C, and you'll notice that we're not going to hold down the A string. We leave this open so the little finger on the left hand is free to move around on the treble strings. Similarly, when we play the F chord, we don't fret down the A string again, so the little finger is free to move around. On this configuration of the F chord, we move the thumb up the fretboard to the 2nd fret on the bass E. And finally we play the E chord, and sometimes we make an E7 chord. Later on in this video series, we'll take a look at the styles of some great bluesmen such as Big Bill Broonzy, Robert Johnson, Floyd Council and Blind Blake. Don't forget to check out my classroom on TrueFire. I'll see you soon.